What's up, YouTube? Capital G here. Okay, so we got the round 3 feature from Worlds. Edison Pan versus Ivan Alvarez. Alright, let's see what these two competitors are playing. Is it me, or do a lot of the participants from Worlds look rather young? Like, I mean, this could be, once again, a match of Dragon Duels, but, you know, Edison looks kind of young, Ivan looks kind of young. So, let's see what's happening. So Edison's playing Geargia. Oh my god, he opened up with 3 armors and an accelerator. Was that 3 armors or was that 2? And Ivan's playing Madolches with hands. He's got Angeli, Ice Hand, Compulse, Deep Prison, Fiendish Chain, I think Bottomless. So, got a really good hand. Edison opened up with armor. He just set armor in a back row. Fiendish Chain probably is going to be used here. Okay, maybe Ivan didn't have Fiendish Chain. Maybe I'm just lunching. Okay, he activated something. Alright, so he did activate Fiendish Chain. And no contingency plan from Edison, who opts to just simply set 1. Geargia armor is 1100, so at minimum you'll probably see an Ice Hand attack. You see an Angeli. Angeli wanting to test the water, see how far he can get. If Angeli is allowed to go to Hoot Cake, obviously Ivan can get some big plays set up. Edison has Book of Moon in his hand. He opted not to use it. Also opted not to use any of those accelerators to try and go for like an XC play. I guess he felt like there was too much back row to risk it. You know, he already saw a Fiendish Chain. So anyways, looks like the Angeli goes off without a hitch. She brings out Hooters. Hoot Cake summons Mess and Gelato, who's going to search something. Either Chateau or Ticket. Just doesn't, I mean, it's really up to him. He goes for Ticket. I like Ticket a little more. Doesn't give you the attack gain, but, you know, it does allow you to get different Madolches instead of having to use the same ones, I guess. So, Madolche Ticket is on board. And I wonder if maybe you'll see an XC. Or if you'll probably just see him go to battle phase, attack with Hoot Cake, maybe attack with the Ice Hand. Looks like he attacked with Mess and Gelato over Geargia armor. And opts not to do any further plays. He just plays the Ticket and then passes back to Edison. Again, he has a really rough hand with all those Geargia armors, with the accelerator. We see another Geargia armor play. Okay. Now, if that first armor was attacked, that Fiendish Chain should totally be gone. Unless I missed something, that Fiendish Chain should be gone. So, apparently Edison likes to do the Super Power Shuffle too. To me, it just seems like a little sloppy. Like, it just seems wildly unnecessary. It just seems like it just takes longer, extends games. I understand that you don't want to draw bad, but, you know, who's to say if you just do a regular shuffle, you're going to draw, you know, worse than if you do a power shuffle. I don't know. I mean, you guys show me some statistics or something like that, and then I'll start believing in it. Okay, so he added Geargia accelerator. Now, I mean, he can actually come back from this. Keep in mind that he's got 2 accelerators. I mean, based on how many cards are actually in Edison's hand, he could conceivably try and go for Exile Knight. Okay, he just sets the armor, sets another card, passes back to Ivan. I guess he feels like, if you couldn't stop my armor the first time, you're not going to stop it next turn. Edison also plays Fossil Dyna in the main deck. That's interesting. And he set a Fossil Dyna. That can be huge. He's got all of those accelerators in his hand. Okay, so we saw Hoot Cake tried to activate, and that was Book of Moon. I think it was Angeli that got Book of Moon. Hoot Cake will tag back into the deck because, you know, it's been sitting there from Angeli's effect. And it looks like Gelato attacked the face down monster, which was Fossil Dyna. Fossil Dyna is going to get triggered, and Gelato and Hoot Cake both are going to be destroyed. Ticket is going to activate, so this is probably a lucky break for Ivan, because the monsters should go back into the deck unless I'm mistaken about something. But this is actually a break for Ivan, because the way that I look at it is I'd rather have those two guys get blown up than, like, you know, than my, like, Queen Tiramisu or something like that, like an important card that I want. He searches out another Angeli, and he's sitting on 2 cards. Obviously, one of them is Ice Hand, and the other one is Angeli. Edison took a second to read Madolche ticket. Again, if cards are tagged back into the deck, you just get to search Madolche cards or Madolche monsters and do whatever you want. You can get Hoot Cake, you can get the Mew Kitty, you can get Gelato, which I rarely ever see that done unless you've got like Mew Kitty alongside of it. He's got a D Prison, he has a Torrential down there, he's got Evac Device. He's got a pretty loaded board. And I believe the only thing he has in his hand is the Angeli that he just searched. Looks like he told Edison, it's your turn. And we see that same armor reflipped. Okay. He might want to consider getting MK2 at this point. Because at some point, you can have all the accelerators in the world, but you got to do something with them. It'd just be crazy if Ivan flipped over Mind Crush and called Accelerator and he lost all 3 of his accelerators. We're going to see another Power Shuffle. It's interesting that Mind Crush is kind of a card that a lot of people don't play much anymore. Oh, I'm sorry, he has a Mageline in hand too. Ivan has a Mageline and Angeli. Obviously, he lost 2 cards, and so he gets 2 searches from Ticket. I believe that's how Ticket works. 2 cards go back into the deck, you search out 2 cards. I thought, when I saw him search Angeli, I was like, okay, well, I guess you don't technically have to trigger it twice. But I was like, doesn't it stack? If you lose 2 cards, don't you get 2? And this is where Madolche becomes one of the better decks in the format, is when you get Ticket rolling, man. If your opponent can't counter it immediately, you're just in a really, really good position. Stream obviously had a little bit of a hiccup there. Alright, so we see that Geargia armor. And I would still have to say slight advantage Ivan, because I think when Queen Tiramisu comes out, things are going to change. It looks like Edison attacked the face down Angeli, and then obviously that triggered Ticket, and Ivan searched out Mew Kitty. And he sets armor face down, sets another card, and then passes. The problem that I have with what Edison's doing, I think he doesn't want to play into Ivan's back row. The problem is, I think that when Queen Tiramisu comes out, I think it's a wrap. Now, unfortunately for him, he's actually going to go neg with this Torrential, because Ice Hand's going to trigger and attempt to blow up the face down. Not to mention, as long as he has those Ticket, all of those monsters that got destroyed, he's just going to search for them. He loses Breakthrough skill, which means he's going to get a Fire Hand. As long as he's playing a Fire Hand. I mean, I wouldn't understand why you would just play an Ice Hand and nothing else. Now, obviously, Edison does get his search from his, or he does get the add a card from Geargia Accelerator being destroyed, which was the other face down. He lost an armor and he lost an accelerator. Overall, I understand why he did the Torrential. I just don't like the exchange for him. Because when you look at what actually happens, okay, you lost your armor, your Torrential and your Geargia Accelerator basically traded. So you're neg 1 already, technically. Your opponent can use Ticket. So you didn't really kill any monsters on their board. So you went neg. The Ice Hand traded for your Breakthrough skill. So that's another neg. I mean, basically, I think he went neg 2. I could be wrong about that. If he searches 2 Madolches for Ticket, then he went neg 4, I think, technically, something like that. Look, the point is, he just went like neg a tillion. You see the Fire Hand comes out. He summons it in defense mode, which I don't see why. I mean, Ice Hand paid for Fire Hand, so me personally, I would just attack with it. I'm one of those people where I kind of assume every deck plays Soul Charge, so I always want to minimize the damage you can do to with Soul Charge. Like, life points became relevant again when Soul Charge became a card, so if I can get your life points down quickly to where I can put you in a danger zone, I'm going to do that without, you know, while obviously minimizing risk. Now, it looks like Edison drew an Ice Hand, which I guess technically if he had left Fire Hand at attack mode, he could have Crash Whip, but I mean, he does have an evac. He has ways to stop this. And Edison has, I mean, he has 2 armors, 2 accelerators in hand. That's just, that is rough, man. You're not going to win many duels with that type of hand. I mean, even without things like Black Horn of Heaven, which would be the freaking bane of you. I mean, a warning pretty much shuts down what you want to do, not to mention the simple bottomless trap hole if you attempt to go for Gear Giant X. Looks like he summons a Madolche, yeah, that's Madolche. Madolche gets the Mute Kitty. And I think you might see an Xyz here. Maybe not. I'm not even sure that, even if Ivan thinks that that's Geargia armor because he did add it back to his hand from Accelerator, I'm not even sure if Ivan cares about Geargia armor, to be honest. I think he looks at Geargia armor and thinks, what can you do considering I have this Madolche ticket and you just haven't been able to do anything about it? I mean, you could make Ice Dweller. You could make Abyss Dweller and potentially say, well, you know, I could be a hand or something, but I think Ivan just passing is probably the right play. I think if you go, I don't know, man, I probably would have been tempted to go like Diamond Dire Wolf and ended up getting screwed because of it. But Ivan makes a pretty smart play. Looks like Edison sets a monster and just passes, and it's a bottomless trap hole. Ivan's problem is, and the reason why I don't think he is mounted yet and already won this game, he does not seem to have any answers for back row. I mean, no wiretaps, no lances, no MSTs. He hasn't drawn any like back row removal. And you got to think, last turn Edison had pretty much nothing in the back row. So he summons Hoot Cake off of the Mew Kitty. That gets bottomless. And I think he might have Madolche Palooza set. Okay, so he plays Chateau. No, I think he still has actually. I think he actually still has the Madolche Palooza in his hand. I mean, obviously he needs to get the Queen Tiramisu to do his big damage. He just passed his turn. A Duality's played. Obviously he's looking for defense. He sees Wiretap, Phoenix Chain, and Forbidden Lance. Phoenix Chain probably being the best card there. If you can't special summon, you're not going to mount. You're not going to do any damage. So he opts to take the Lance. Okay. Maybe he's thinking, if I can make Exciton Knight and I can blow up the field, maybe I can reset the game. I can do some damage. I honestly think that's going to cost him because I look at his position right now, right? And I think, okay, your 2 monsters aren't going anywhere. The 2 monsters on board, since you use Duality, they're staying there. You're not going to exceed with them. You're not going to attack with them. They're just going to sit there. Which basically means that Ivan can just be like, okay, Queen Tiramisu, spin them back to the deck. I don't know. I kind of felt like not taking the Phoenix Chain, you just let your opponent get Tiramisu for free, maybe. Because Ivan has it in his head. If I Tiramisu, I'm going to win. Not only will Tiramisu activate, Ticket? As long as he has a Madolche in the graveyard, of course. But Tiramisu, more importantly, gets rid of Edison's field presence. So he gets MK2. MK2 obviously just special summons one Geargia monster from the graveyard onto the field. I believe it's in defense. No, wait, it can be from the hand, too. It's just any Geargia monster from the hand or the graveyard to the field, and it's going to shuffle his deck. Now, the reason I think that you see players reading cards... No, my computer just... Yeah, the reason I think that you see players reading cards more often is because, you know, card text in different languages and stuff, and sometimes there can be like a language barrier between the players, especially like if a European player plays like an American player. Oh my goodness, forget about it. You got somebody who like only speaks French, and then, you know, they play against like a dude from Texas or something. I don't know, that's going to be difficult. Alright, so his hand still is kind of flooded with monsters. He sets another card. How is he exceeding if he used duality? Okay, someone explain to me how he exceed and use duality in the same turn, please. Hold on, I gotta see if they caught that.
Its ability allows you to detach material and prevents monster effects that activate in the graveyard from acting.
Yes, I know that, but how did he exceed and use duality in the same turn? That's what I don't understand. Okay, so now he normal summons MK2. Is this a new turn or something? What is going on? He just special summoned twice under duality. This is the same turn. Duality is the top card on his graveyard. What?
And Torrential Tribute.
Okay, so Ivan Torrentials to clear the board out. Obviously, he knows he's not going to lose any advantage from New Kitty or Madeline because, you know, he's got Ticket and Chateau. What I want to understand is, if this all happened in one turn, how the fuck did Edison just special summon twice? How did he special summon twice if he just dualitied for the Lance? Like, I'm pretty sure it did not pass back to Ivan. Maybe they all missed that.
And it is an ice hand.
We're going to have to rewatch this match at some point. I don't understand how he just special summoned twice under duality. I'm going to read the feature match before I upload this video. So anyways, Ticket's going to trigger. I believe that's Hoot Cake that he's going to get. And he should get another search. Yeah, I guess he's thinking about his other search. Messenger Gelato and... Oh, okay, I'm sorry. He's summoning the Hoot Cake, getting Messenger Gelato by banishing the Fire Hand. He did play that Torrential pretty sweet, though. I mean, he absolutely waited for Edison to just put everything on board, and then he was just like, TT, clear him out. I mean, he gets a search or a Chateau. Not really sure if he needs it. He like already has so many cards and whatnot. I believe he attacked with Messenger Gelato for 21. Knowing that Ivan only has the Lance, you know, feel free to do whatever you want, really. Or knowing that Edison only has the Lance. I'm kind of surprised he hasn't set the he didn't set the Madolche Palooza earlier, but I guess he feels like maybe he didn't want to potentially get Exiton Knighted or something like that. I don't think he's ever going to get value out of that D-Prison. I really don't think so. And I believe he just set a Black Horn of Heaven. That should end this game. Okay, so Edison set 2 more cards. And you would think that he would probably activate Hoot Cake again and just get another level 4. And then go into Tiramisu. Okay, he's going to banish Ice Hand. Obviously, he wants to leave his Madolches in the graveyard so that he can, so that he can activate Queen Tiramisu's effect. He gets Madeline. And so far, so good. Alright, now he's going for the big play. He's going for Messenger. He's going for Queen Tiramisu. Pretty sure that's her anyway. Judge interrupts to do something or other. I see Tiramisu on board, although something happened to her. Either she got bottomless or she died somehow. Again, I can't actually see. She got Blackhorned. Okay, yeah, she got Blackhorned. and everything is going back. I believe he just played another, what's it called? I believe he just played his second Madolche Chateau over his first one, and that's going to trigger ticket, so he's going to get a whole bunch of searches. This is an incredibly long game one. I mean, it doesn't seem like Edison Pan can get any offense started, and it doesn't seem like Ivan can quite mount him. He gets an Angeli. It's pretty odd though with such a strong starting hand that it took him so many turns to actually get his first attempt at Queen Tiramisu. But I mean, again, he hasn't had any back row help, or he hasn't had any back row hate, so his deck hasn't been really giving him the support that he needs, I guess. You see that he has Hoot Cake out, or that he went Angeli for Hoot Cake. Then he goes for the Kitty. It's going to Exceed into Levier. Levier for Firehand in defense mode. And probably just pass turn. I mean, he's going to get some value out of that Levier. I'll tell you that. Because he's got Ice Hand in there. He's got Fire Hands. He's got a Hoot Cake, an Angeli. He's got some. He can get some value out of his out of that Levier effect. Technically, both players can. I just don't know if Edison Pan can actually make a what's it called, a Levier. Although he could like mind control it, I guess. Some Geargia players still run that, despite the fact they only run level 3 and level 4 monsters. Okay, so he wanted to look at Edison's graveyard for a quick sec. I believe he attacked into a face down, which happened to be Geargia armor. So, I mean, he ate, what, 100? And he gave him an MK2 for free. I don't know if I would be attacking into face down monsters if I'm playing Geargia. Not with a Levier. If I had something that was 2,000 or up, I wouldn't have any problem with it. Because I know at least I get to kill the armor. But not being able to kill the armor, that's kind of a problem. Okay, so obviously there was a short stoppage for some reason. Not sure why. Again, I think that big guy might be doing coverage for like the written site, or might be relaying that information to somebody. That Black Horn of Heaven was clutch. I think it definitely saved Edison's bacon. Otherwise, he'd probably be dead already. And it looks like Edison just drew Solemn Warning. While Ivan obviously has a Fat Veiler. I like the way he just looked at the camera. He was like, what the fuck are you looking at? He's got a Fat Veiler, so a Fat Veiler is good because, I mean, he's got evac to cover most Exceed plays, but then he's got Veiler for like anything else. I believe he just flipped some in Geargia armor. He might be thinking about Veiler in it. I don't think you should. Your opponent has already made so much advantage off of that armor. Like, what's the point of stopping it? Like, I would just save armor for an Exceed, to be honest. Looks like he's gonna read. I believe if he's reading it, that means he probably summoned MK2. Oh no, he was reading, I believe, one of the cards that Edison searched. So it may have been MK2 or it may have been Georgiano. Either way, Edison still is sitting on a lot of accelerators. Okay, well, there's the first one. That gets summoned in defense position. He just keeps drawing the traps that he needs, and again, I don't think that Ivan even attempts to play any back row hate because we haven't seen wiretap or anything. He goes into the Exciton Knight. There is where you save your Veiler for. That's what you save that Veiler for. Do not evac it. Don't evac it. Alright, he detaches, and Ivan shows him the Veiler. Very smart play. Now, here's the thing though. Edison can still attack over the Levier. So I think if he threatens the Levier, you might want to evac it. Nah, yeah, well, yeah. I guess because Levier, I mean, that effect can put in some work. Free +1. I don't think that Ivan has a breakthrough skill in his graveyard, so I would surmise that you need to get rid of Exciton Knight like ASAP. I believe Edison is just looking in his graveyard. This is crazy. 40 minutes for the first match. Really? 40 minutes. And Ivan looks like he's gonna die. Look at him. He's like, dude, can we just die roll this shit? Okay, so he's activating MK2's effect, and I guess he's just asking for a response for Ivan, who has none. That Phoenix Chain has been on the board for so long. I guess he'll go for armor and just probably set it. Reads MK2 for another second. And I believe he summoned something in defense position. Alright, looks like he's attacking with, what's it called? Like he's attacking with the Exciton Knight. Oh wow, he actually got value out of that D-Prison that was sitting in his back row from like turn 1. I never thought he'd get any value out of that D-Prison. I even said it like 10 minutes ago. He finally got to use it. Okay, I believe he normal summoned something or other, and Solemn Warning was played. Yep, Solemn Warning pops up. They need to adjust Edison's life points, first off, because it's a cost. The second he flips it over, his life points are reduced by 2,000. It was an Angeli. Oh no, I guess he didn't use Solemn Warning. He still has both cards face down. He's probably waiting on the XC. I guess he figures, you know, Angeli's cute and everything, but if I can stop the XC, then she doesn't really do anything. Although technically, Ivan can just, if he's smart about it, he doesn't actually have to XC. He can just go into beatdown mode. I mean, Hoot Cake is a 2K beater, and Messin Gelato is a 21 beater with Chateau on board, and they both float, so it doesn't really matter. You can just go straight beatdown mode. I mean, you've gotten rid of the one card that could have, like, really helped Ivan come back. That was the that was obviously the Exciton Knight. Now, it looks like he did try and trigger Levier's effect because it no longer has materials. Levier dies from the warning. He's at 3,400. So, I mean, Ivan's basically just a couple of attacks from winning. He just needs to get there. Okay, so he's going to activate Angeli. Probably for Hoot Cake. Yeah, he's got a Hoot Cake left. With that Solemn Warning gun, he can do some definite damage. You'll give your opponent a card back with Accelerator, unless you do something silly like, you know, make something silly would be like making Abyss Dweller. Like, I'd try and go for game, knowing that your only face down is probably Lance. And what's he gonna summon? He used Angeli's effect. I thought Hoot Cake would be the obvious choice. Bring out a Messin Gelato and just swing, swing, swing. And then consider making Cowboy for game if you don't have it. He also has that Madolche Palooza set, so he can use that too. Okay, he opts to summon Mageline. He may not have any Messin Gelatos left. That might have been a reason why he didn't do that. So he just swings with Mageline over the MK2. Maybe not wanting to commit too much, knowing that his opponent has that back row. Still, to me, seems like he's playing a little conservative. maybe too conservative. Or maybe he didn't want to use his last hoot cake if he felt like he couldn't win that turn. I don't know. I mean, let's see. If he would have went hoot cake, mess, and gelato, right? All right, so mess and gelato has 21. That would have attacked the MK2. He would have had fire hand attack the accelerator, and then he would have had a direct shot with hoot cake, and then he could have made cowboy. Hoot cake's 2K, so pretty sure that's game. I believe that's a luminescent knight. I really believe that that is a luminescent knight. Really good card. I have to pick one of those up. One of the fantastic cards. It is a luminescent knight. Redirecting targeting stuff for days. And it's like you don't really realize how much stuff targets until you look at all the cards in the format. Book of Moon, Phoenix Chain, Compulse Evacuation Device. I'm not certain if he can use, because I haven't read, I'm not sure if it's if I've read his text verbatim in a little while, but I'm not 100% sure if he can use his effect in the damage step. If a luminescent knight can use his effect in the damage step, that dude is freaking like just nutty, because then you're talking about Fire Hand possibly that he could activate his effect on. You're talking about Forbidden Lance, Forbidden Dress, all the forbidden, you know, spells. Seems to be some discussion.
Working through, but after that, all bets are off. Yeah. We still have to deal with the Fire Hand.
I'm not 100% sure if like what they're really talking about as far as this ruling. I guess he doesn't. I guess a luminescent knight can't activate during the damage step, because Jerome McHale basically just said that he would still have to deal with the Fire Hand, which means, you know, or I guess there would be nothing for him to redirect his effect to, because he only has a luminescent knight on field. Like you can't redirect Fire Hand to like your opponent's monsters. So let's see if we can skip ahead and see if they resolve that issue. I don't want to be sitting here all day on this one issue. Oh, let's go back just a little bit and see how the luminescent knight actually died. Okay, we skipped ahead just a little bit to see what the resolution of this is going to be. This is crazy that this is, again, one game is this far in. Yeah, okay. I see what Edison tried to do. Ivan said, okay, well, if I'll just attack with Fire Hand on your luminescent knight, and I guess Edison said, I'll redirect it and I'll activate the effect, but there's no other monster to redirect the effect to, so it just dies. Let me just make sure that that's exactly what they're saying.
And even if it could, it couldn't redirect that Fire Hand anyways. No, because it wouldn't be an appropriate target. Nope. Yeah,
and I actually I'm not 100% sure if he can even activate in the damage step, but he wouldn't have another target to redirect the Fire Hand to, so it doesn't look like it would really matter. Looks like he's going to summon Madolche in main phase 2. Either Edison crashed into Fire. No. That's what happened. Edison crashed into Fire Hand, because you see that he signaled that he was passing back to Ivan. So it's Ivan's turn. Looks like Ivan's going into battle phase. He's going to attack with Madolche. And Ivan has played relatively clean this game. He's only taken 100 life points. That is insane. And Ivan has a Maxi in hand. He's probably not going to get that much value out of that Maxi. Okay, so I guess the Madolche is tagging back into the deck. And he's going to trigger his ticket. It is somewhat difficult to commentate these matches when they keep changing the camera angles. It becomes a little difficult to comprehend what's happening from turn to turn. Okay. Edison's back is against the wall. He's sitting on 1,900 life points. One direct attack from a Messenger Lotto, and he will lose. And obviously, Ivan has Ice Hand on field, so I mean, he has 1,400 covered. He could actually just go Ice Hand and Maxi. Like, that would be technically 1,900. He could just summon the Maxi that he's probably not going to get much value out of. Oh, he goes Soul Charge. He actually played into the Maxi. And he has Transmigration Prophecy. That's interesting tech to be playing in the main deck. He targets Geargia Armor. Maxi will almost certainly be played. It is. And Ivan will draw a new card. Armor's probably just going to be put face down. And then, I mean, Ivan could hypothetically make... Ivan could just Xyz in the Heartland Draco and potentially attack. Oh, he drew Mind Control. That was pretty much the best card he could have drawn. So, I mean, now you could go... And now you don't even need the Heartland Draco because you don't technically have to worry about the armor. You can just play Mind Control on the armor and not even have to worry about it. Even if he didn't have the Mind Control, he still could have potentially had game with Heartland Draco. Alright. I believe he showed him the Mind Control. Let's see what he did.
It was surprising, though, considering that...
Yeah, I believe he showed him the Mind Control, and Edison simply scooped. Alright, so Edison starts off game 2 with Armor, Mind Control, Mind Crush. I believe there was a Dimensional Fissure in there. And Fiendish Chain. Ivan's got Angeli, Hoot Cake, Evac, Torrential Tribute, and Fiendish Chain. Really good hand, and completely resistant to Mind Crush. So I'm expecting to see Armor set, maybe Dimensional Fissure played, and then all your back row probably just set also. And that's what he does. He sets 2. And Ivan says, I can counter that. I'll set 3. Now, he has the Angeli. He plays Madolche Chateau. Then he plays Hoot Cake. And he just swings. That actually is going to flip Geargia Armor. Okay. I guess he didn't want to potentially lose the armor because Hoot Cake does have 2,000 attack. And looks like he's probably going to get Fiendish Chain back. And yep, he gets Fiendish Chain back. Unfortunately, he has no wiretap or anything. He sets another card in his back row. I don't know if he set the Mind Crush or what. He summons yet another Hoot Cake. Hoot Cake Beatdown. Hoot Cake Beatdown for the win. And he looks like he's just going to swing. He does. He swings in the armor. I don't think that there's any reason for Ivan to Xyz or anything. I just think Ivan can just straight beat him down. I mean, he has 2K beaters on board. Although it does look like he is immediately thinking about going into an Xyz. Zemains might be pretty good. The problem with Zemains is you do lose you lose a lot of attack. You lose 500 attack. Okay, he does go into Zemains in defense mode. I guess he figures this way he at least gets monsters into the graveyard so that he can go what's it called? He can go Angeli, and then he can actually use Angeli's effect to get Hoot Cake, and Hoot Cake will have something in the graveyard that's actually live. So Edison played something or other. I believe it was some sort of draw card, probably Upstart Goblin, maybe Pot of Duality. No, it wasn't. Okay, no, sorry. All he did was set a monster face down. He flip summons Accelerator, then goes another Accelerator. Maybe that monster was face down last turn. Oh, okay. I guess he just normal summoned it. And is that Torrential Tribute? Yes, it is. That is horrible because they all get banished. That's horrible for Edison because they all get banished, and that's really bad because during the end phase he loses his Dimensional Fissure to Zenmain's effect. This shit is just going downhill really fast. Angeli comes out for Ivan. With no Dimensional Fissure, there's absolutely nothing stopping Ivan from going off. He can go into Hoot Cake, which he could have already done anyway, because he had the detached material. He's going to banish Angeli. He gets Messengelato. Messengelato is going to get Ticket, unless Edison has a response to any of this. He's going to Mind Crush the Ticket once it gets to his hand. So he shows him his hand of Fiendish Chain and obviously the Madolche Ticket, so he loses that. At least he got to play his Mind Crush. Problem is, he definitely can just get beat down. I mean, he's sitting on, okay, that's swinging for 2K, swinging for 21, and he does not opt to use Zenmains to attack. He just leaves it in defense mode. He might be concerned about a D-Prison, but the way that I look at it is I would want to simplify card advantage, so I would exchange my Zenmains for the D-Prison. In my opinion, I would gladly trade it. Because think about it, you could have put your opponent at 1,500. Now they're still sitting at 3,000. I mean, I don't think there's a huge difference, but I just don't see the point of not attacking with Zenmains. I guess that's what I'm saying. I believe he drew a Mystical Space Typhoon. He has the Mind Control, but he doesn't have any monsters to use it with. Ivan still is sitting on a Messengelato. No, yeah. He has the Mind Control. He drew the MST. And I believe Edison just signaled that he was going to pass back to Ivan. Okay, maybe not. Looks like he just scooped it up. I really didn't see that there was a way that Edison was coming back from that. The Torrential is what pretty much just crippled Edison. You know, for him to lose both of his accelerators, and both of them got banished, and then on top of that, he was able to trigger the Zenmains to get another card. I mean, that was just too brutal. So hopefully we'll have another good match coming up soon.